The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 284.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free self-talk tape for building self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.
Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is an entrepreneur, and I'm just really excited to have her on and share her story about self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Ada Yip. Ada, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Sheena, for including me in this. So I've been, in the past 2 years, I've been running a startup based in Hong Kong after sort of 10 plus years in the corporate world. So what I do now is a company called Urban Spring. We target to reduce consumption of plastic bottles usage by providing a solution, a modern drinking water experience to the public. So, like many other places, we do have fountains, in public areas, but people generally have concern over the hygiene, not sure whether the waters are safe. So what people tend to do today is buy disposable plastic bottles of water, which is creating a lot of waste, as you all know. So we think that the only way to tackle the problem is not just by simply telling people to bring their own bottle, but to provide an alternative so that people can switch. So it has been a very fun sort of year doing this startup.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think that's a cool initiative that you're starting up. I mean, I know how bad plastic is too when you're drinking bottled water. So, it's great that there's always someone out there, like you, who's going the extra step to find that solution. And, what's your cultural background?
So I'm born and brought up in Hong Kong so I studied here until 16. And then I went to boarding school in the UK and then also went on to university in the UK. But after university, I actually came back to work in Hong Kong. And then throughout my career life, I probably spent about 2 years in Toronto and then 2 years in Tokyo. But most of my work life has been in Hong Kong.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I think my recent one is about, I think people say, luck is sort of generated by yourself today. I think that self-confidence also comes from just talking to different people and, preparing yourself for something in the future, which might be a bit unknown now.
Thanks for sharing that. And I like that quote that you mentioned because, a lot of people say you're so lucky, not realizing that they don't know the story behind of what you've done. They just see what happens now. And, luck comes out when we just keep on taking action and then all these things start coming out to us, right? So I really like that quote that you mentioned. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
I think it's to be comfortable with actually what you know and what you don't know. I think in particular to be knowing what you don't know. It's very funny because recently I have this conversation about self-confidence with someone in the team. There are people who behave as if they know a lot of stuff and, demonstrate that they know X, Y, Z. But to me, I think that's a reflection of insecurity as opposed to confidence. I think the most confident and knowledgeable people are people who are humble and probably ask a lot of questions and not be out there and loud and say they know everything and they take control. So I think self-confidence is coming probably from people know what they know and what they don't know.
Thanks for sharing that definition. And I like that you mentioned that, right? Being comfortable with what you don't know, especially, growing up in an Asian culture. In an Asian culture, it's just, we feel like if we don't know, we feel like we're not as worthy, or, some people may feel like they're stupid because they don't know it, but it's fine. Like, we don't know every single thing. And when we're more curious and start asking questions, then, we have that confidence to keep going and keep searching for the answer. So I like that you mentioned that. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like I think everything is a journey, and I think everyone probably excel different level of self-confidence along the way. I mean, when we're babies, when we're a child, when, someone's 20s, 30s. It's sort of different type of self-confidence. And I think before I might be a little bit more conscious about sort of your appearance, your age, etc. And I think now I've grown to probably once you going back to what I said about, self-awareness, whether it's physically and mentally and psychologically, then you're just comfortable with who you are. And I think previously it's probably less so, but I guess it's a journey.
Thanks for sharing that. And, was there any point in your life when you knew, there was just like this aha moment when you realized you were capable of doing great things, like, start doing your startup or just being an entrepreneur? What was that moment in your life?
Switching from corporate to startup to actually change industry, from some place that I was very comfortable and probably developed some level of domain expertise, and then switching to an industry where I don't know anyone, I don't know the product, etc. And getting to learn it, I think what I feel good now, it's actually some of my past skills or things I've learned before actually is applicable.
Thanks for sharing that. And, it's great that you were courageous enough to go out there and just start your own business, even though you had no clue what was going to happen, right? A lot of people fear the unknown, but for you, it's like, what else could the universe bring to me or whoever you believe in? It's a great thing because you never know what to expect. And, so many good things can come out of it. And, from transitioning from corporate to starting your own business, what's your life been like now?
It has been a lot of fun. I told my friends, I describe it as refreshing because I'm learning so much every day, and I'm meeting, making new friends every week, getting to know out there. I mean, before it was banking, so most of my connections and things, people, it's around sort of in the banking industry. But now it's like whether it's people doing, food related or internet related, like technology, even biochemistry, about air, what I'm doing around water. It's just fascinating in terms of how many passionate people and bright and smart, confident people out there. And there's so much to learn. And I'm very enjoying the process and the journey. And I think before that, it was a lot of fun too in corporate because I think I learned a lot then, which helped me to build a foundation. For example, whether it's communication skills or organization skills, actually helped me or prepared me to, in terms of what I do now.
Thanks for sharing that, and I'm glad you're out there, experiencing these new things, meeting new people, and just enjoying life. To the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Just go out there. Go out there and talk to people about your ideas. Nobody can steal your idea. The more people you speak to and get feedback, it will just help you to sort of build, whether it's a business, a project, or whatever you do, because I think nobody can do anything alone. I think very often, in particular for women, they want to do 10 different things and think that they need to multitask, whether one is married or not. But, that you have got parents and friends you have to interact with, and you feel that you have to do everything, but actually, no. I think any one day, there are different priorities. The most important is actually focus on one or two things at a time. Whether it's a day, a week, define that. Otherwise, you're going to stretch yourself too thin. If you're not physically and mentally well, you can't do anything at the end of the day. Take care of yourself and also go out there and talk to people and build a team around you as opposed to do everything alone.
Thanks for those tips. And, I've been guilty of doing that, trying to do everything. It just burns you out. So I know the feeling. And it's true when you focus on one or two things, you get so much more done. You get more productive than just always being busy. Thanks for that tip. And if our listeners wanted to connect with you, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
So I'm on LinkedIn. I think if you search Ada Yip and I'm the one who, Urban Spring, that you can find me. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. I think probably if people want to connect me some more at a professional level or even just have a bit more chat about what I talked about and share their journey, share my journey, I think maybe try LinkedIn. That might be the easiest.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Ada, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Ada's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Ada for taking the time to share her story with us. So I'm really grateful that you're here today. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, Sheena, for this opportunity.
Not a problem. It was great having you on. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Sign up for our free membership site to get more amazing resources for self-confidence by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.